fourth world record of the year. Yes! Yes!
Armand Mondo Duplantis just did the unthinkable. With perfect form and unreal power, the 25-year-old Swedish-American cleared 6.30 meters in Tokyo, breaking yet another world record. It's his 14th time rewriting history, and fans can't help but wonder how much higher he can possibly go. The numbers are astounding, but what's more jaw-dropping is how routine Duplantis has made the impossible look. In 2024 alone, he went undefeated through the entire Olympic season. 15 victories, 3 world records, and another Olympic gold medal, all before turning 25. To call this a golden era of pole vaulting would be accurate, but it's not just any era, it's the Duplantis era. Born in Lafayette, Louisiana, to a Swedish mother and an American father, Mondo's life was engineered for this sport. His father, Greg Duplantis, was himself a former pole vaulter with a personal best of 5.80 meters. His mother, Helena, was a heptathlete and volleyball player from Sweden. Athletics wasn't just encouraged in the Duplantis household, it was embedded into daily life. By age 4, Mondo was pole vaulting in his backyard. By 7, he had already cleared 3.86 meters, a world best for his age group. It was only a matter of time. Duplantis officially exploded onto the global scene in 2018, when he won the European Championships at just 18 years old with a vault of 6.05 meters, setting a new U20 world record. But it was in February 2020 when the Mondo era truly began. On February 8th, he cleared 6.17 meters indoors in Toruń, Poland, breaking Renaud Lavilleni's 6-year-old world record of 6.16. Just a week later, he did it again, this time 6.18 meters in Glasgow. And he hasn't slowed down since. In the years following, Duplantis would continue to raise the bar, literally and figuratively. Whether competing indoors or out, on the Diamond League circuit or the Grand Olympic stage, he's showcased not only athletic excellence, but a near-robotic consistency. Each record he breaks edges higher by just 1 centimeter, a strategic move that not only prolongs his dominance, but earns him maximum bonuses from World Athletics and event sponsors. Fast forward to 2024 and the Paris Olympics. At the Stade de France, Duplantis electrified a global audience with a world record vault of 6.25 meters. The roar from the crowd was deafening, but Duplantis wasn't done. A few weeks later in Silesia, Poland, he cleared 6.26 meters at the Diamond League. In Clermont-Ferrand, France, he followed up with 6.27 meters. Finally, in Tokyo in 2025, he capped the year with 6.30, his highest mark yet. Tokyo held special significance. The last time Duplantis competed at the Japan National Stadium was during the 2021 pandemic-delayed Olympics, where no spectators were allowed. He won gold, but described the experience as spooky, eerie, not very fun. This time, however, a sold-out crowd of 53,000 brought the stadium to life. The atmosphere was electric. After winning the event and hugging his competitors, Duplantis returned to the runway and delivered what the fans had been waiting for, an encore world record. To be able to enjoy this world record with them and give them that is super special, Duplantis said, and he did it with flair. After clearing 6.10, he even mimicked Japanese baseball legend Ichiro Suzuki's sleeve-tugging pre-bat ritual, a nod to his baseball-loving brother who was in the stands. It's that blend of showmanship and precision that defines Duplantis. He knows how to play to the crowd, but never loses sight of his technical focus. Pole vaulting is often described as the most complex of track and field events. It requires speed, strength, timing, and courage. The biomechanics are brutally unforgiving. A tiny misstep on the runway, a slightly off plant, or poor pole selection can end in disaster. And yet, Duplantis makes it look effortless. Much of this can be credited to his rigorous training regimen and technical foundation, both of which are deeply rooted in family. His father remains his coach, and their chemistry is evident. Every vault is the result of countless hours of drilling, pole carry, plant timing, takeoff angles, and mid-air body positioning. Nothing is left to chance. Beyond physical ability, Duplantis' mental approach sets him apart. "It's doing what I know I'm capable of," he explained. "I kind of demand that out of myself. That self-imposed standard means he's constantly chasing his own limits, not his competitors." His competitors, meanwhile, can't help but admire him. Sam Kendricks, Olympic silver medalist and former world champion, said, "He's got the jump, he's got the jets. He's got a family that really supports him, and then he's got a field of guys that's really pushing him up there." While many athletes might rest on such laurels, Duplantis seems fueled by a deeper passion. In 2024, he even dipped into music, releasing a song titled Bop under his nickname Mondo. The track played in the stadium as he made his record-breaking vault in Clermont-Ferrand. It was a surreal moment, athlete, artist, and showman all at once. Outside the track, Duplantis has become a cultural icon. In Sweden, he's already received the Gout Award, an honor given to the most outstanding Swedish sports achievement, twice, something only 5 other athletes have accomplished. Under the rules of the awarding body, Svenska Dagbladet, no one can win it more than twice. So while Duplantis continues to dominate, he's already reached a level of national reverence that needs no further accolades. His fame has grown worldwide. He's appeared in ad campaigns, Grace magazine covers, and drawn comparisons to the likes of Usain Bolt for his transcendent charisma. And yet, he remains grounded. When asked how he planned to celebrate his 6:30 vault in Tokyo, he smiled and said, "I don't know, drink up, start waking up, enjoy the rest of the day, celebrate with my family later today." Duplantis' rise also shines a light on the evolution of the sport. Once dominated by the legendary Sergei Bubka, whose 6.14 stood for decades, pole vaulting is undergoing a renaissance. Duplantis has ushered in a new generation of vaulters who are clearing 6 meters regularly, something that was once considered mythical. In Tokyo, 6 athletes cleared 5.91 or higher in the same competition, a historic first. With each centimeter conquered, the question grows louder: how high can Mondo go? Duplantis himself has speculated about reaching 6.31, maybe even 6.50 one day. Considering his youth and drive, those numbers no longer sound far-fetched, they sound inevitable. What makes Duplantis' dominance particularly fascinating is the consistency. He has now won 49 straight competitions since September 2022. Whether it's the pressure of the Olympics or the chill of an early season indoor meet, Mondo delivers. He doesn't just win, he captivates. There's also the element of community. Pole vaulting is one of the more supportive disciplines in track and field. Competitors often cheer each other on, celebrate each other's milestones, and learn from one another. Duplantis exemplifies this spirit. After every vault, he high-fives opponents, chats with fans, and takes time to enjoy the moment. Perhaps that's what makes him more than just an athlete. He's an ambassador for the sport, redefining limits, expanding its appeal, and showing the world that sometimes the sky isn't the limit. As we look ahead to the rest of the decade, one thing is certain: the Duplantis show is far from over. With LA 2028 on the horizon and plenty of competitive years ahead, he may very well do what once seemed impossible: make 6.50 a reality. Until then, fans around the world will continue to watch, hold their breath, and believe. Because when Mondo Duplantis picks up that pole, impossibility stops being a barrier and starts becoming a benchmark.
Away, he got not such a good start tonight. Kelly just leads him from Kepagelli. Out wide, Cassiano and John. Now Gout starts to stretch away, and stretch away he does!
Gout Gout just wrapped up his final high school race, and what he said after crossing that finish line has everyone talking. But before we get to his big announcement, let me tell you about the incredible way he said goodbye to his school. Gout Gout competed in his last school meet at the GPS Track and Field Championships. This wasn't just any race for him. This was at the Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre, the exact same place where he first showed everyone just how fast he could run. After years of breaking records in his red and white Ipswich Grammar School uniform, this was his final hurrah. Now here's where it gets interesting. Gout decided to skip his best event, the 200-meter race. Instead, he chose to run the 400 meters and compete in a relay race. Why would someone skip their best event at their final school meet? Well, earlier that day, another runner named Seth Kennedy from Brisbane Grammar School had just broken Gout's own 200-meter school record with a time of 20.64 seconds.
Let the legs loose and let the kid run. He is absolutely gone. He is Gout of this world. 20.07. Wow. That is not.
So the 400-meter race became the big showdown. Everyone watching knew this was going to be special, and Gout didn't disappoint. He ran 46.14 seconds, setting a new personal best and a new meet record. Kennedy finished right behind him at 46.64 seconds. Both runners beat the old record, but Gout came out on top.
Gout's got 50 metres left to go. Kennedy's trying to close the gap. The gap's getting shorter and shorter, but Gout's going to take the victory. What's the clock say? 46.18.
After catching his breath, Gout wasn't done yet. He jumped into the 4x100 meter relay race and helped his team win. They ran 41.3 seconds, which set another Queensland record. When Gout grabbed the baton from his teammate Jonathan Cassiano, his school and Brisbane Boys College were running neck and neck. But within moments, Gout pulled ahead and secured the win. Standing there on the track after his races, Gout got emotional. He looked around at the place that meant so much to him and said, "This is the place where I found my speed. It definitely feels sad, but I'm definitely grateful." During his time at Ipswich Grammar, Gout set at least 5 different school records. He's been at that school since 7th grade, and he made sure everyone knew how much it meant to him. "I've been at this school since grade 7, and they've definitely helped me," he told reporters. "It's a great school. It's the school where I met my friends and teachers around me." But then came the moment everyone's been waiting for. After talking about his school and his coaches, Gout shared what's next for him. He said, "I just can't wait to go on that next journey. For me, it's the world stage. That's the next step for sure." There it is, the massive announcement. Gout Gout is officially moving on from school competitions and setting his sights on competing against the best runners in the entire world. And honestly, if you've been following his journey this year, you know he's ready for it. Let me tell you why everyone believes in him so much. This past year has been absolutely wild for Gout. He broke a record that stood for 56 years. Back in 1968, Peter Norman set the Australian 200-meter record at the Mexico Olympics. For more than half a century, nobody could beat his time. Then Gout came along. First, he ran 20.04 in Brisbane. Then he got even faster with 20.02 seconds.
Europe, this from Gout Gout. Now he's got a target. Menya moving away from him, Morisi in the headband. A battle between these two. And Gout working so hard to get to him, and he gets there. Gout takes it by a metre and moving away.
And then, even though the wind was helping him a bit too much for it to count officially, he ran 19.84 seconds. That's faster than what Usain Bolt ran when Bolt was the same age. It's also faster than Justin Gatlin's junior time. Pretty incredible, right? Gout even talked about those windy races. He said, "I didn't really feel the wind too much. Obviously, it was plus 2.2 meters per second. I just used it to my advantage, I guess. I took off, got a nice flick, and just sent it down the home straight." He admitted it was frustrating that those super fast times don't count in the record books because of the wind, but he stayed positive about it, saying, "But I guess it's about getting those nice runs, and then, hopefully, one day, the wind will be great." Over the summer break, Gout traveled to Europe for his first international competitions as a senior athlete. He went with his manager and coach to race in the Czech Republic and Monaco. In the Czech Republic, at a meet called the Ostrava Golden Spike, he won his race and broke the Australian record again, lowering it to 20.02 seconds. After that race, he said, "I felt calm but strong as I came off the turn and was confident I'd be strong enough to get the win." Another national record. Pretty happy with that. It's not a bad first up in Europe. Then came the really big stage. In September, Gout competed at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. This was huge. He was running against Olympic champions like Noah Lyles and Letziel Tebogo. At just 17 years old, he became the youngest sprinter ever to compete in a World Championships 200-meter race. In his first heat, Gout finished third with a time of 20.23 seconds, which got him into the semifinals. In the semis, he came in fourth place with 20.36 seconds. The track was wet, and he didn't make it to the final, but he was proud of himself. He said, "Semifinalist and got to compete against the big guys. I couldn't be prouder of myself." What really stands out is how Gout thinks about his future. After racing in Tokyo, he shared something really smart. He said, "It definitely makes you hungry, knowing that I'm just a kid right now, but knowing that I can still compete with men as a kid. And the thing I have on them is, I've got time. They may not have 15 years, but I've got 15 years. That's a mature way to look at things. He understands he's young and still learning, but he also knows that's his biggest advantage. He has so much time to get even better. Think about how crazy his life is right now. 1 week he's racing at the World Championships in Tokyo against the fastest men on the planet. The next week he's back in Brisbane running at a school meet, and then he has to pull out his pencil case and take his final exams. He even mentioned how strange that feels, saying, "It definitely feels crazy thinking about the two sides of the same coin." Even Noah Lyles, the Olympic gold medal winner, has been asked about gout. Lyles said some really important things about what it takes to succeed. Lyles said, "He's obviously so young, very talented, but there's so many people who have been talented in our sport that unfortunately haven't been able to hit that upper echelon." Lyles talked about what really matters for young athletes like Gout. It's more about what's the path he's going to take, who's the team that he's going to take with him, and how much work are you going to put into not just being athletic, but knowing that you've got to be a business person and you've got to be it young. He also pointed out the tough reality of being famous so young. That's the hardest part about being such a young talent. You have to grow up so much faster than everybody else. When people get to come to you and they're like, "Hey, we need this of you," unfortunately, you don't get to say, "I'm only a teenager." Because once you sign the contract, once you're on the track, you're no longer a teenager, you're now a businessman. Gout has shown he has the support team he needs. His coach, Di Shepard, has been with him through everything, and his school gave him the foundation to grow. Now he's taking all those lessons and memories with him to the next level. So what's next for Gout Gout? Nobody knows exactly, but everyone's watching. Will he compete in more international meets? Will he aim for the Olympics? One thing's for sure. He's not afraid of the challenge, and he's ready to show the world what he can do. This 7-year-old kid has been breaking records everywhere, and everyone's been asking the same question: where will we see him race next? Well, we finally have our answer, and it's going to be huge. Gout Gout just told the world he's going to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, and trust me, this is a big deal. But here's where it gets interesting. Everyone thought Gout would skip the Commonwealth Games. Why? Because the dates are tricky. The Commonwealth Games run from July 23rd to August 2nd in 2026, and right after that, from August 5th to 9th, there's the World Junior Championships in the United States. That's the big one for young athletes. That's where Usain Bolt made his name back in 2002. So people figured Gout would pick one. You can't do both, right? Wrong. Gout's manager, James Templeton, just dropped the news. He said, "We are planning that Gout will be available to run an event in Glasgow before going on to the World Juniors in Eugene. Gout will race the 100 meters at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Then he'll hop on a plane to the United States and run the 200 meters at the World Juniors. 2 big races, 2 different countries, all in 1 week. That's insane. But that's Gout Gout. Let me tell you a bit more about this kid because his story is pretty amazing. Gout was born in Ipswich, Australia. His parents came from South Sudan back in 2005 looking for a better life, and they found it. Gout grew up loving video games. He played Fortnite, Minecraft, and Zelda. He says he was a hard gamer before he was a track athlete, but somewhere along the way he found running, and he was really, really good at it. When he was just 14 years old, he ran the 100 meters in 10.57 seconds. That's crazy fast for a kid that young. People started paying attention. Then, last year at the World Under-20 Championships, he ran the 200 meters in 20.6 seconds. You know what's wild about that? That's faster than Usain Bolt ran when he was 15. Bolt ran 20.61. Gout beat him by 0.01 seconds. And it gets better. In December 2024, Gout broke an Australian record that had been standing since 1968. That's 56 years. The record belonged to Peter Norman, who got a silver medal at the Olympics. His time was 20.06 seconds. Gout ran 20.04 seconds. New record. But he wasn't done. This year, in June, he went to the Czech Republic for a race in a place called Ostrava, and he ran even faster. He clocked 20.02 seconds, another new Australian record, and get this, that time makes him the 6th fastest under-20 athlete in history. Let that sink in. 6th fastest ever for someone under 20 years old. People started calling him the next Usain Bolt. Videos of his races went viral, millions of views. Everyone wanted to know about this kid from Australia who runs like the wind. So when the World Athletics Championships came to Tokyo this year, everyone was excited. This would be Gout's first big race against the best runners in the world, not just kids his age, the best of the best. Before the race, Gout did a big media day with Adidas. They're his sponsor. There were over 24 journalists there, TV crews, cameras everywhere, and Gout walked out looking a little nervous. He put his hand in his pocket and gave this awkward smile. The host even said, "It's a long walk," just to help him relax. But once he started talking, you could see why people love this kid. He's humble, he's funny, he's just a regular teenager who happens to be incredibly fast. He told everyone he still shares a room with his older brother. He said his favorite food is burgers. Well, first he said pizza, then changed his mind and said burgers. His favorite drink? Peach iced tea.